Welcome to this edition of the Luke Winstall Show. My next guest is a four-star hybrid player on the defensive side out of Lee County in Georgia, class of 2022, Georgia Tech commit, just locked it in, Jaron Willis. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on. Really excited to talk with you today. First up, the big decision for you, of course. You were committed to Georgia Tech. Let's take it back to the beginning of the past week. You made an announcement on Twitter that you had something to say on Friday. When you're looking at that, you're a Tech commit. You tweet that out. What was going through your head at that time?
At that time it was I wanted to say I was going through something. I was battling something, and I just wanted to push back from recruitment and just try to focus on myself in football and try to focus on high school. And I thought the best move was going to be to decommit and, go to another school. But, obviously I chose to stay with Georgia Tech because of a lot of many reasons I know we're going to get into. So,
Yeah, for sure. We will. We'll unpack everything here. First off, when I saw the tweet, I was like, oh man, I know that Quayshawn Sapp's at your school. He's a Florida State guy. And I know that he's been a lead recruiter for them. So I was like, okay, is there Florida State? What other schools are involved? You had tons of offers and heavy interest. So my first thought, to be honest with you, is I was like, oh, this, sounds like a decommit. Overall, when you look at your decision this past week, what are things that were going on from the different influences you have in your circle? What are some of the conversations that you had in those 5 or 6 days after you said you had an announcement until you announced it yesterday?
My cousin Tyrus actually committed to Arkansas. And, of course, Sapp was committed to Florida State, and it was just something personal. My other personal decision was Ole Miss. I was looking at Ole Miss heavy. And I was just thinking, where I see myself at for real. And, times where, football was coming in, and I just didn't feel like myself, as an old player for, year 1 through 3. And now, this recruitment started picking up again, and I was just feeling like, maybe Georgia Tech is not the place for me, or maybe I moved too fast, or maybe I just did, overthink things through. And, the talk was with, players and other coaches. They were just telling me, follow my heart and follow what God led me to. And, I just try to, listen to my heart and, just trying to see, really just see how every school play out with me, with recruiting. And another thing is about position. So,
you posted on your Instagram story, I think it was Thursday, in terms of the timeline of the past week. And someone had asked, do you have a decision? What's been going on? And you were, saying honestly, I'm not sure right now. I'm still thinking things through leading up to your decision on Friday. The 24 hours leading up to your decision, how would you describe that from your perspective?
It was like, you finna take the final exam. So my head was just spinning. I was talking to my mom. I was praying over it. I mean, I probably had 100 different type prayers with God. And I just, finally, the thing about that was it was just finally a decision. I think I know I made the right decision. It was something in my heart. And I really made the decision, literally at 1:30 or 1:35. So it was just crazy.
Wow. And you're saying 1:35 in the afternoon, 20 minutes before you announced on Twitter?
Right. Because I had different, type posts, like decommit posts, locked in posts. I just had different posts was ready to, send. But I finally hit that locked in post, and it just felt good. And it felt like, I'm ready to play football now.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, in terms of the overall decision, there was a lot of different reaction from everybody, but I want to get your reaction first. You hit send on Twitter. Thousands of people are waiting on this decision. So when you hit send How did it feel for you? What was the rush of emotion at 2:02 or 2:03 when you hit that send?
The emotion was really high. I was still in school then, so I had to cut my phone off and just focus on school. I didn't really look at no comments or no type of tweeters or like twits, like what I mean, like
Yeah.
Instagram DMs. I had to look at a lot of DMs. I didn't look at none of that. I cut my phone off. I called some of my coaches. I called Georgia Tech coaching staff. And then after that, I just cut my phone off and just let the day go by. And I cut it back on. Of course, I had like 1,000 messages at me. So.
Yep. Yeah, and in terms of the overall reaction, Georgia Tech fans jumping for joy, but one of my favorite reactions that I saw, and you reacted to this on Twitter yourself, was the coaching staff and the people over at Tech. They were waiting. I think they had maybe your Twitter up on a projector or on a big screen.
Right.
And they refresh the tweet, and it says locked in, and they start celebrating, jumping up and down, hugging each other. I mean, you're one of their priority recruits. It makes sense. But when you see something like that and they post the video on their Twitter account to let everyone know that they appreciate your decision, how does that feel for you?
The first thought that came to my mind was family. It was like, that's just how your family would react when you make a big decision. I always thought that, Georgia Tech was a family type team, and man, you're gonna play with your brothers, and the coaches gonna love on you and coach you hard. So that reaction wasn't. I wasn't concerned about that reaction. You get that every day from them, anyways. Like just having, but now like really just looking at it and seeing that they really, truly care about you and your decision, and see how much a priority you are to the program. It just amazed me, and it really caught my attention, and it really just made me want to play harder once I get to the 4-4.
Got you. Coming out of Lee County, great school, some dogs over there. I know that. I've talked to a bunch of them, and y'all can play. So when you look at your high school season, you've got a lot coming up. Is your recruitment totally shut down at this point? I mean, are you taking any calls from anybody now, or how does that go as you're getting into your high school year now?
The only calls I'm taking is, from Georgia Tech. If coaches, if the name don't have Georgia Tech at the end of it, I'm 100% committed. So that's the only call I'm taking so far. And, it may be a few coaches from different schools I might pick up for. And, it's just out of respect for myself and respect for, my true commitment. And I'm really, really committed at this point and really locked down everything. Just respect that for me, that I just have, a couple coaches that from different schools still contact me and who really helped me, guide me to make a decision, was it was their school or not. So there's still some real coaches out there.
At Lee County, you got your high school season getting going here in Georgia. On that team, you're a hybrid defender, and that's something that we've seen more and more of lately, I think partially due to the success of some players like Isaiah Simmons. But for you, it's not just a cliche because you're athletic. It's your actual ability to go all over. When you turn on the tape, what do you see as your strengths and your things that are really making you shine as a hybrid guy over at Lee County?
My versatility. Like, you never know where I'm gonna line up at, and I literally, how we play our defense is I literally just play fast, man. And they put me, my coach at Lee County put me in a great position to make plays for playmakers, man. So it's just a great opportunity to go out there and shine. And when coach finally, calling that play for you and move you differently, it's just something that you just don't get from everybody. And I really say, I can really say that being a hybrid athlete put me on the map a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And with Georgia Tech wanting you in that hybrid type of position as well, from what I've heard, how do you feel like you fit in and project on their defense?
Oh man, it's like literally what I'm doing in high school. Like, I'm playing up high, playing free safety, strong safety, then rolling down into the inner box safety to a dime safety, and going into the nickels. Like, they moving me literally everywhere. So it's just the same thing as for Lee County, and that let you know they're just a great fit. And now I seen, with people with my body type, because I'm, people with my body type just don't even supposed to be in a safety position. And who really paved the way for that was, a guy I look up to, the name of Isaiah Simmons, 6'4", 238. He really don't even supposed to be back there at all, and traditionally, but just being in this new generation spread offense, man, you gotta get ready to move, and they look for guys with length, size, who can do it all, and that's when the money at right now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, now let's take things back a little bit. We've talked about your commitment. You're at this peak point in terms of your high school recruiting process, but to go back a little farther, for people that don't know your backstory, where you're from, how you've come up, what is your story of getting to this point to where now you're committing to Tech?
I'm originally from Albany, Georgia. It's literally 10 minutes from Lee County, Georgia, Leesburg, Georgia. And, of course I go to school at Leesburg, and, just being, Albany, Georgia just really wasn't, have a great opportunity to me just put my name out there as a football player. And, it's a lot of great talent in Albany. I still go to the games. Even though we didn't have a game this week, I went to two Albany games, and just try to, support and, tell the boys, man, that I still got y'all back, even though, I'm at another school. But even though I grew up with y'all, just something different. So, and, my mom and my dad, my family just made, I like to call it a business decision of moving me from Albany to Lee County in the 6th grade. And I think I can really thank them, because they really made this decision, and they thought it was the best opportunity. And, as now you see, it's the best opportunity. So, yeah.
Getting to Lee County, you've got a stacked defense this coming year. You've got all kinds of guys out there. Actually, one of them, Omar White, I'll be talking to a little later today. But lots of talent there. The defense is looking good from the on-paper perspective. But from you as a defensive player, being out there day in, day out with the guys, what do you think could make this defense special this year?
We just so athletic everywhere. It's really anybody can play anything, because I coach how I coach. If you're a DN, you got to learn how to play nose guard. Of course, me, if I'm at nickel, I got to learn how to play the free safety and learn what a corner do, and how our defense work. It's we fit off each other, and we play fast, and our defense is worth the sacrifice our body to get there. So I just say we just crazy athletes around the defense.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at your overall journey, I've got a couple more questions for you of how you got to where you are. What do you think was a turning point for you in the process of overall high school football, getting to be the recruit you are? What would you say was a big turning point?
The big turning point, man, it was just, I want to say, I was at 9th grade. I remember this game like it was yesterday. I was in 9th grade, got called up from JV to varsity, and my first play, I was at nickel at this time. My first play was a nickel blitz. Came off the edge, set the edge, and got a strong fumble. My very first varsity game. And ever since then, I was like, yes, this really what I can do, And that's just the turning point of, what you get out of Jaron Willis now. So it's what you get from that year to even more to now as me being a senior. So I think that's the turning point.
Okay. And overall, to trace it back to the beginning around that time, when did your recruitment first get going? What's the story behind your first offer?
Well, yeah. So, one of the coaches came in from my first offer was from Pitt. So one of the coaches came in. We was actually talking. It was around late 10th grade year, early 11th grade. So yeah, one of the coaches came in and gave me. We was talking, and then literally I stepped out the room, and Coach Brizio came to me. We talk, all this, and then we was talking about my ability, what position can I play, what position I see myself at the next level. And we, shook hands and I walked out. Next thing you know, Coach Brizio walked out. He told me, hey, he forgot to tell me something. I walked in and, Pitt offered me. It was just an emotional time. And when I called my mom, that's the first person I called, man. I called my mom and, she was crying on the phone, and it was just a good day for me to have my first offer.
To become a national recruit, what would you say was the moment that you really blew up and became one of those national guys that's a top 250 player in the country that's got all the attention you do now?
Oh, man, that a national recruit. Honestly, I didn't expect to be a national recruit. I didn't even expect to be a highly recruited how I am now. I just think everything happened for a reason. And I just believe what my coaches was telling me, and I just put in the extra work. They give me something, I do it, and I put in extra work. And, when you just have your head down and you grind every day, and you really don't focus on recruiting, focusing on, like, getting your stuff out there, magical things can happen when you look up and you see your name on Google and you see your name on ESPN, and just because all of you grinding, you just kept a humble spirit in your life, and just that's why I just never thought like I would be a national recruiter. And when I think the turning point of that was, it was just like, I don't know. I really don't know how, like, I don't know the turning point of that. Like, I just know how when I was grinding and when I was, like, working and doing the extra stuff, and I looked up, it was just out of nowhere. So, yeah, I can't tell you the turning point of that. It just happened, I guess.
Yeah, got you. Okay. Well, when you finish up this process as you have with saying you're officially locked into Georgia Tech, how do you handle the pressure and go about the mental side of things when you know that this decision is probably going to get comments, maybe blowback from fans? You're going to have to deal with all kinds of people, whether it's people you don't know or people that you do know, friends, family, coaches, connections, whoever. How do you deal with the weight of having to make a decision like this at such a young age?
Growing up in Albany, Georgia, it was I want to say a hard time, not just for me, just for any kid, especially when I was growing up and when a lot of kids wasn't even past to even making to 18. So definitely, when I can say I know how to handle pressure, like this was pressure, but I know how to handle it because of the hard times, and that's why I always going back to my childhood, that I had to make, early decisions at my childhood and grow up fast and kind of just get where I'm going. And now it's like, when I do make decisions, I hear other comments about other people that, I didn't go to state schools and different stuff like that. I tune that out because, you're going to get talked about every day, and you really can't determine how people talk about you. It just, you gotta just be your character and be who you are. At the same time, you gotta, still show respect to the people who disrespect you. So that's just how, I like to come at a lot of things. And, I like to hear people's opinions, but it don't faze me. I just like to hear people's opinions.
For sure. Okay. Well, now when you look outside of football, what are things that you enjoy when you're not playing the game?
I definitely enjoy going out because I still gotta be a high school kid. I definitely like all this recruit stuff, football stuff, being a high school athlete, being a student athlete. You still gotta find balance in your life to enjoy life and still be a kid, still grow up, still being 17, 18 years old, and just, make stupid mistakes as a kid and learn from it and just grow up because, a lot of athletes like me, we're just different in the world and we view differently. But if I could say something about that, I say we still kids and we just grow up and, just let us be.
Definitely. I know on the field you mentioned that you look up to Isaiah Simmons. Off the field, who are some people that you look up to or some role models for you?
Off the field, I say my mom, cause I was her firstborn, so we kind of grew up together. My real dad wasn't in my life, but luckily I have a stepdad who did come in my life. So we had to grow up together for some good years, and but my grandma and granddad was there all the way. I look up, I even look up to, a part of my best friend. She grinding, she doing her thing. So I look up to a lot of people, but them two women in my life, my grandma, well, all the women in my life, my grandma, my mom, my best friend, them ladies can, really show me how to grind and put in the effort.
If you were to give a talk to some younger players that would love to be in your shoes one day as a 4-star top 250 recruit that you are, what would your message be to the younger athletes?
I just say, man, just everybody got a path, and you got to follow yours. You can't follow nobody else, and you got to stay in your lane, and you just got to keep grinding. Ain't nothing, in the world can stop you for being who you are, and you want to be a top 250 in the nation. You got to put in the extra work, man. It's hard, but the price is going to be phenomenal, and you're going to enjoy it. And I say this, I can leave you off to this. Once you is a top 250 in the world, like with people who lucky to get there, you still got to be put in the extra work, because not down to nobody who's number one, but whoever is number one, and say like you're like number 3 or number 10, and of course it's cool that you top 50, but why not you could be that number 1 player in your class, in your nation, in the nation. So yes, I just say keep grinding, man. Stay focused and stay on your path and stay in your lane.
Jaron, that's all the questions I had for you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.